We have a great deal to show and tell you today. So let's start off with our regular opening, and that's Prashanti, which is well admired by millions of our viewers. The beautiful hostess here of Prashanti is Nalini Bhatt.
Love is my form, truth is my breath, bliss is my food. Love is my form, truth is my breath, bliss is my food. Love is my form, truth is my breath, bliss is my food.
We at Prashanti offer our humblest pranams at the most sacred lotus feet of Bhagwan Sri Satya Sai Baba. Welcome brothers and sisters, this is Nalini. On today's Prashanti, we are bringing you the fascinating story of how a great devotee of Baba, Lokanathan Mudaliar, built the first temple of Shirdi Sai Baba in Guindy, a place called Guindy, with the grace and blessings of Sri Satya Sai Baba. This is how it came about. Lokanathan Mudaliar owned a piece of land in Guindy in Chennai. An occult practitioner had illegally occupied it. When Mudaliar evicted him through the court orders, the occultists performed black magic against Mudaliar. As a result, Mudaliar suddenly developed severe mental disorders. His condition deteriorated rapidly for next 2 days. But on the third day, he woke up saying, crying out, "Oh, where is that charming man in a chilly red robe who came last night in my dream, in my vision, and cured me with just 3 spoons of tulsi water? Oh, where can I find him?" The family was clueless about what had happened, but they were just happy that he was completely normal. The very next day, Baba came in person to Mudaliar's house. The moment Mudaliar saw him, he fell at Baba's feet saying, "Oh, you are the God who cured me, you are the God." Baba said, "It was indeed I who came in your dream last night and cured you. But henceforth, I assure you, you will never have any trouble from the sorcerer." Baba then told his wife to dig out the carcasses of goat and chicken that the occultist had planted in Mudaliar's land. Mudaliar became Baba's devotee in that instance. Later, when Mudaliar expressed his wish to build a house for the savior, for his savior Baba, Baba said, no, I don't need a house, build a temple for my previous body. There is, even now there is no sculpture image of me in Shirdi also. Mudaliar agreed, and Satya Sai Baba himself directed the construction. He even chose the sculptor suitable for the job. You know how? By going in his dream and telling him, "Go to Guindy and start on my idol." That's how Baba worked, perfectionist, and seeing every detail. So finally, when the temple was completed, Baba himself consecrated the shrine.
Is the holy shrine of the Sai Baba temple at Guindy, Chennai. Bhagwan inaugurated this shrine of Shirdi Sai in 1949. The shrine of Shirdi Sai is Bhagwan's gift to humanity, the first spiritual center. July 10th, 1946, Swami is here to lay the foundation stone. He creates Sri Chakram, turmeric, kumkum. He places it below the slab and announces that this is my first mandir. Bhagwan physically was just 20 years old then. February 3rd, 1949, Swami arrives with a host of devotees, installs the Ganesha statue, and then consecrates the idol of Shirdi Sai. Swami creates 9 gems, golden tumi flowers, Sri Chakra. Swami comes down the steps of the shrine and says, "Now I am going to infuse power into this idol." Even as everyone is looking at the shrine, the idol levitates. It is in the air for a while and then it settles down. On the day of the consecration, Lokanath Mudaliar family wished if they could have the impression of Bhagwan's feet as their cherished memory of that unforgettable day. He asked them to spread the silk cloth. He said,
"Why my feet?"
"You are going to see the feet of my former body." When Bhagwan stepped out of that silk cloth, the devotees were thrilled to see not the feet impression of Satya Sai, the soft, tender feet, but the long, heavy feet of Shirdi Sai. This impression of Shirdi Sai's feet is part of the sanctum sanctorum of this holy shrine.
We leave you with the powerful message of Baba, love all, serve all. Thank you for watching Prashanti. Jai Sai Ram.
Let's move on over to Prashanti, where we will hear our graceful stories on Satya Sai Baba, which is directed and hosted here by beautiful Nalini Bhatt.
Love is my form, truth is my breath, this is my food. Love is my form, truth is my breath, this is my food. Love is my form, truth is my breath, this is my food.
We at Prashanti offer our humblest pranams at the most sacred lotus feet of Bhagwan Sri Satya Sai Baba. Welcome brothers and sisters, this is Nalini. As we have seen, the villagers in Puttaparthi were troubling Subbamma, Baba's foster mother, in whose house Baba lived. They did not like the fact that Subbamma, a higher caste Brahmin lady, was sheltering Baba. Apparently, so as not to cause so much pain to Subbamma, Baba left her house and started living in a cave near the Kalpavriksha tree in Puttaparthi. But when we learn more about the cave, which housed Baba for nearly 6 months one time, it seems that there was more to it than just the fact that Baba had no other place to stay. What was this cave like? Why did Baba live there? Vijayamma, a great devotee of Sri Baba, narrates the thrilling story of her exploration of the cave along with her brother Krishna Kumar. Let's watch.
One day Swami said, there is a cave near Kalpavriksha which nobody has seen. When I was a boy, I used to disappear for some time, nearly 2 months like that. We said, Swami, what were you doing in the cave? Swami said, I used to meet a lot of Maharshis, enlightened souls, and we used to discuss about the welfare of the world. Then Swami said, in that cave there is a writing table, ink bottle, a pen, Gita book. Don't try to go into the cave and see, because there is a big lion always sitting there. But my brother is always very adventurous. Whatever Swami says not to do, he will do it. So in the afternoon, he called me, now come on, let's go and see the cave. I said, are you mad? Swami said, there is a lion. He will say like that only, come on, let's go. He dragged me actually. When we went near the cave, no steps, nothing, so steep. He jumped down, he dragged me inside. It was full of thorns and pebbles. As Swami said, writing table, everything was there. Then my brother said, we go inside the cave. Little further, we heard the lion roar.
Oh no!
I said, finished. Now the lion is going to jump on us and eat us. Then we can see the lion majestically sitting, and eyes were just like fireballs. It was so angry.
Because you were intruding in its space, or?
Doesn't like because we have come without Swami's permission. Then we started back running. With the greatest difficulty we climbed the wall. My clothes were torn, my blood coming out. Then we ran and ran. Then my brother said, let us not go by the front door. We will enter by the back door, because front door, Swami's room is there. As soon as we went there, Swami was standing near the back door. When we looked at him, I told my brother, that lion is better than this lion.
Adventurous that Krishna Kumar was, he once again set out on his own to explore the cave when Baba was away in Bangalore. The cave, measuring 6 feet by 5 feet, seemed like the very Kailasa carved out by some divine architect. A fragrance that seemed as though the Parijata flowers in the heavens had come down and it hung in the cave. All the items that Baba had described, the kamandalu or the vessel used by sages to carry water, ink bottle, a feather pen, the holy Rudraksha beads and the padukas or footwear worn by saints were there in the cave. Krishna Kumar sat silently for some time, overcome with awe. Then on an impulse, he collected all these items and returned to the old mandir. Without breathing a word to anyone, Krishna Kumar safely put them away in a small room. A few days after Baba returned from Bangalore, Baba broached the dreaded subject. Have you kept everything you got from the cave safely? Hand it over to me whenever I ask for it. Baba said calmly. Krishna Kumar heaved a sigh of relief. One of the sacred items that he found in the cave, Sri Baba's padukas are still with Srimati Vijayamma. She has enshrined them in her altar, and I have been very fortunate to prostrate before the sandals in her house. Why did the Lord spend his day in a cave when he could have had his pick of palaces and bungalows if he wished? To an avatar whose abode is the pure heart of devotees like Subbamma's, what does it matter if he lived in a palace or a cave? Thank you for watching Prashanti. Jai Sai Ram.
Let's proceed with Prashanti, which is a well-admired segment by millions of our viewers. The hostess of Prashanti is gorgeous-looking Nalini Bhatt. Let's watch.
Love is my form, truth is my breath, this is my food. Love is my form, truth is my breath, this is my food. Love is my form, truth is my breath, this is my food.
We at Prashanti offer our humblest pranams at the most sacred lotus feet of Bhagwan Sri Satya Sai Baba. Welcome brothers and sisters, this is Nalini. Previously on Prashanti, we saw how Sri Baba went away to live in a cave. Subbamma, Baba's foster mother, searched the entire hills carrying food for Baba. Let us hear about the magnitude of her love from Baba himself.
All respected Subbamma, but ever since she met Swami, she didn't care anymore. Right from dawn to dusk, she attended all jobs, works associated with Swami. Then Bhagavan left this place without telling anybody. Subbamma searched for Bhagavan with a tiffin carrier. With that carrier, upma, vada, idli, she was carrying that, including dosa. Supposing if Swami asked, what is that you brought for me? Well, she should be in a position to say, Swami, whatever you relish. Swami said, give me dosa. She served it in a plate and gave it to Bhagavan. Swami said, Subbamma, this dosa is not nice. I want idli. She served idli also. Swami said, I don't want idli now. Then I want upma. She served upma now. In fact, she prepares all these things right from the morning and waiting for Bhagavan. Because she was not sure what Swami would ask. And Bhagavan said, Subbamma, don't fear. I have put these questions because in future, the world should know your sincerity of devotion. Bhagavan, you accept it, but kindly serve little to me. And Swami served her idli along with chutney.
Unmindful of the hostile villagers, Subbamma tirelessly played hostess to the devotees who came in big crowds. But the hostility reached a limit, with people trying to roll Baba from the top of the hill and people in Bukkapatnam, let alone Puttaparthi, refusing to let Baba stay there. Bhagavan did not have any place to stay. Again it was Karanam Subbamma who came to the rescue. She donated a piece of her land to Sri Baba. This land, her husband Karanam, who was already deceased, was planning to build a temple on. So people of Puttaparthi might have sent Baba out, but Puttaparthi village itself expanded and embraced Baba, for the village grew around Baba's ashram. it extended outward from the ashram, so much so that over the years the southern border of Puttaparthi became the northern border. Baba's old friends Tunga Gangappa and 3 others built a small thatched house for him with wood and wet mud. Once the house was built, Subbamma organized a house-warming function and fed all the villagers. Baba stayed in this humble house for just a month or so. His devotees from Bangalore implored with Baba to please let them build a better house for him. Soon the old structure was demolished and construction of a new house, or rather a mandir, which became famous as the Patha Mandir, began. When the workers dug the ground to lay the foundation, wonder of wonders, they found scores of lingams strewn over the land. Let us watch.
Foundation stone had to be laid. We've all seen the Shiva Lingam. There is something called a Peetam. There is a stand on which the lingam is kept. So when they dug this particular place, they found that there were dozens and dozens of those Peetams without the lingams. You might find a lingam without the Peetam, but it's very rare to find a Peetam without the lingam. So they decide, okay, why not we dig a little more? Maybe there are lingams somewhere else. So when they do that, Swami said, no, don't search for it, because all the lingams are here. Nobody knew what Swami was referring to. About 2 or 3 years after that, Swami started the Lingodbhavam during Shivratris.
Baba later said, many sages have done years of penance on this land. Was it any wonder that the Lord had chosen this holy place for his abode? More next time. Thank you for watching. Jai Sai Ram.